Good evening, folks. Brian here. It's Sunday, March 9, 2025. We're going to talk a little bit about fires. I'm trying to find the time to put together a video. This is not going to be it. So many years ago, I used to be in fire safety in a hospital, a major Canadian city hospital. We had to go through what was called the Greater Vancouver Regional District Fire Protection Association Annual School and study the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association Handbook, which is quite literally the size and thickness of a big city phone book. So I have a little bit of understanding about such things as ignition temperatures and flame spread ratings and etc. You don't need an open flame to start a fire. You need a heat source. I'll explain that later. I'm going to debunk a few things. And just reading the comments from all these news reports about all these fires, it really, really saddens me. It saddens me, but it makes the government really, really happy. People are spewing off their nonsense conspiracy theories. They're all arsons. People are running around and saying, you have no idea how many people are commenting, oh, it's all arsons. And the second most one is, it's all dew starting all these fires. The government loves people like that because they are responsible for the distraction from the main reason why these fires are starting. The government should be paying you to spread this nonsense. Unfortunately, this started by one person in June 1, 2023 with the Quebec fires. A large part of the province of Quebec all of a sudden ignited at the same time, or so it looked like. Now, this person was using Next Lab satellite and radar, and all they did was take the play button and toggle it back and forth to make it look like they all started exactly the same time. They did not, within about 2 hours, but he did not show you, he didn't show you anything. You can go to any one of the other satellite sites and it'll give the coordinates, it'll give all the information and the timing that it started and so forth. I'm going to start off by debunking the Quebec fires, in which two prominent YouTubers stated it was a coordinated arson attack. Bullshit. I'm just going to go through some facts, and I want you to pretend that you're I'm going to start this fire with military precision, was the statement by one person. So I want you to plan this out. The distance between all these fires at the most was approximately 1,000 kilometers. On the first day, 24 fires ignited on that same day. And actually, the government report says on June 1, 120 fires, but I'm concentrating on the large fires. 24 fires ignited on the same day, on the same period of time in the afternoon. You can measure the width of all these fires and see which way the wind was going, but you can measure the width. Some were small, some were as wide as 11 kilometers, 10 kilometers. So I took an average. I looked at every single one, so I broke it down as an average of 6 kilometers wide. You're planning this fire now, this attack. Far remote areas, no roads, no trails, lots of rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, other bodies of water. How many people are you going to do it? Let's break down the numbers. 24 fires, average 6 kilometers wide. How many people are you going to need? 1 kilometer is 3,280 feet. Yeah. You have to carry an accelerant. So you're going to assign each person so much of brush. Let's just say 100 feet, to give you an idea how much 100 feet is. So up here in Canada, the frontage of our homes is around 70 feet wide. 65, 70 feet wide. So try and visualize 1.5 homes, but they're all bush. How are you going to ignite that? Let's just assign each one person 100 feet wide. You need 33 people for every 1 kilometer times 6 kilometers. You need 198 people per every 6 kilometer wide fire times 24. You're going to need 4,752 people to start these fires all at the same time. Carrying an accelerant. How are you going to get 4,700 people in? Spanning 1,000 kilometers at different points. How are you going to do it? The only way, and get them out. The only way is helicopter. Take a standard UH-1 Huey utility helicopter. Well, unfortunately, its maximum range is about 550 kilometers, depending on load weight. Average 10 people. Don't forget about the weight of carrying an accelerant, gasoline or whatever. You still need 470 helicopters to transport 4,752 people. Refueling, drop them, set the fires, bring them back. Undetected. What was the objective of starting all these fires? No critical infrastructure was targeted. Oh, these people didn't tell you, though, at the same time of the fire in far northern Quebec, there were 2 magnitude 6+ earthquakes, which was deleted. And then right after the fires, there was a whole series of earthquakes in that area. Well, they didn't tell you that. No, they didn't. So now let's go on to places like the Carolinas fires. However many fires it was, 175, 200, whatever, all at the same time. Oh, they're set by they're arson. They're set by people. Provide me with the police file number, the name of the police officer, the investigating officer, the name of the suspects arrested or suspects, and how did they do it. It's all public information, wouldn't it be? Same nonsense is being spread about the Long Island fires. Oh, they're all arson. Oh, but it's also due. Who? For what purpose? The people loves these people. Sitting back in their armchairs who put in 0 hours, never mind years, of study, observation, documentation, and what's been happening on our planet. No clue, no evidence. No research, no observation, no critical thinking, nothing. And the government loves these people because it distracts people from the probability of what is happening below our feet. Probability. I'm in the process of doing some notes so I can formulate it into a video so people can understand my theory about the rising heat up through the mantle plumes and something called lithospheric melting. So when you have a mantle plume, to the underside of the lithosphere, which the crust sits upon, the harder magmatic material coming up is going to cause what's called lithospheric melting and thinning. And heat's going to come up through the cracks. You do not need an open flame to start a fire. Also, please keep in mind that we're in the middle of a geomagnetic excursion, which weakens our protective magnetic field, which allows increased muons, penetration, saturation through the crust to bubble nucleation, silica-rich magma, pressurization comes up, blah, 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 and increased ultraviolet radiation, which sucks the moisture out of everything. Even right after a rainfall, it does not stay moist for very long. This person, Mike from around the world, has been saying that these events are going to be happening. I've been studying it long before I even knew who this gentleman is. It's part of my studies in theory. You need to understand the process of combustion and what's needed to start a fire. Moisture content, flame spread rating, ignition temperatures, and so on. Not one single person can provide any evidence that all these fires are set by arsonists. Nothing. So hopefully in a couple of days, I'm going to do that video, that talk. So again, this is the same area, Long Island. Now, maybe Providence, Rochester, maybe. This is the same area where even before the earthquake in New York, there were earthquakes in Buffalo, further inland. Earthquakes right offshore, New York, Maine, Long Island. The ongoing reports of the smell of sulfur dioxide and everything else that's been happening. So many things are happening, sometimes I forget. I remember those 2 earthquakes now in that area. The heat detections offshore on several occasions, and the list goes on and on and on. They're all circumstantial evidence, a hell of a lot of suggestions that we have a lot of heat rising up. Like I said, it sort of saddens me when I read. I don't read a news report for the news content. I read it for the comments to see what people believe. So, like I said, a material will ignite depending on the ignition temperature, the condition of the material, the dryness of the material, the roots of plants, for example. You just have to introduce enough heat, radiative heat, to cause the ignition. That's all it needs. You need oxygen too. So you need an ignition source, you need a fuel, you need oxygen. You have to have those 3 in what's called the fire triangle. Certainly lots of fuel and very dry. Yeah, I know it rained there recently, but a lot of that moisture gets evaporated. It's the one main concern. Where I live right now, and the talk around town in the Okanagan, we are so friggin' dry. Put your hand into the soils. It's just bone-dry dust. The vegetation is so dry, the trees, they're cracking up. "14 minutes. You can go to bed now. Ta-ta."